What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I'm joined by one sibling, my sister.
Dale.
And Dale?
Dale's a name.
Man. Oh, Gail. I thought you said
Dale.
Dale.
Dale. It's a girl's
Was it
name.
D?
I saw it on a TV show today.
No.
Her name was Dale Epstein. Don't tell me.
Okay.
And what does she look like?
Look, we're losing all our
A
fans.
lady.
Like Dale.
Like a dude?
Okay,
She,
so-
no.
Never mind.
Also, we were joined by my friend, who we're going to call Dan.
Hey, guys. It's my dad.
We finally got Dan here, and we fired Derek, so, you know.
Awesome.
Sorry, Derek. Wasn't on purpose. I didn't find out till I got here, so. No hard feelings.
Right, and this week we're going to talk about Knives Out. Movie just hit theaters this past Tuesday? Wednesday? Before Thanksgiving.
One of those days.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Knives Out came out in theaters. We're going to talk about it, see what we thought, and give a rating as we always do. So first, I'm going to start off. Dale.
Yes.
That's going to be weird. Okay.
What were your overall thoughts on the movie?
So we are doing like full on spoilers, right? Because I feel like you can't talk about the movie without spoiling it.
Well, first let's give our kind of... I'm not going to do a long, drawn-out spoiler-free, because, guys, it's a mystery movie. We can't talk about anything, really.
The whole
without
thing's a
spoiling it.
spoiler.
Just give us a plot synopsis.
Okay, so this guy is a mystery writer. His name is
Thornberry?
Thornberry. That's his Thrumley. That's his last
yes,
name.
Thornberry.
Like the Wild Thornberries. Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah, Wild Thornberries.
Yeah.
I could be watching that. It'd be on
I just remember
What, Nickelodeon?
the Rugrats
No,
Wild
something else.
Thornberries crossover.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what the song?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Ooh, ah, ah,
Yes.
Dang.
Walla Walla Bing Bang.
Well, this has nothing to do with Knives Out.
Classic. Classic, though. That's classic.
All right, so Dale, what was the plot?
Okay, so he is a mystery writer. He has 3 kids, and so basically people are trying to find out how he died. The police initially ruled it as a suicide, but a private investigator got a note basically saying that it wasn't a suicide, it was a murder. So they're going in there questioning the whole family, trying to find out what happened to him.
Interesting. Kind of like Clue,
Yes,
and I guess just Clue.
it's clues like who killed Mr. Body.
They even made a mention of it in the movie. Excuse me.
Right, they said he lived in the Clue mansion.
Yeah. So
There were
overall-
secret passageways and everything.
Really?
Yeah. You should have seen the movie.
I definitely should have.
Yeah, Dan didn't see the movie, but
I
that's
did
okay.
not.
He got invited here last
I
night
saw a preview, though. So
Good.
all right.
Then you can add.
I can add
Yep.
based
Yeah.
on the preview.
based on the preview. Yeah.
Mhm.
But okay. So overall, did you like the movie, Dale?
I did. I thought it started off kind of slow. I thought it picked up probably about halfway, 3/4 of the way in. I mean, not that the beginning was like not good. I thought the ending was better.
Mm-hmm. Ending was definitely good. I liked it. I didn't guess it. I didn't guess the outcome of the movie.
Did they do a good job of like concealing that, or was it like, oh, I already know who did it before the end of the movie came?
Well, they did a little trick, which I guess we'll get to it.
Yeah, I won't say it was concealed. I think the entire time I was like, I don't trust this dude.
Yeah.
But I guess how he went about it was kind of like, oh,
Or she.
okay,
He or she.
whatever. There was.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Sorry,
You know.
it was definitely a guy that did it.
The way it went about it, it was very subtle.
Very subtle. Interesting. I think it was well acted.
Mhm.
You had Daniel Craig in here
Daniel
doing
Craig.
a Southern accent.
That's who I saw in the preview.
Yeah, I feel like he likes doing Southern accents for some reason. I mean, he went on full on. They called him like KFC in the movie, like full on Kentucky bred accent.
It was interesting, and I mean, I'm not Southern, so I don't know.
What? You're not gonna claim your Southern roots?
Whatever. I did have someone ask, like they were from Kentucky, and they asked me if I was also from Kentucky
Based on
based on my accent. And I was like, what?
It was not even a typical Southern.
I was like,
accent.
no. Definitely from up north.
People often ask me if I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah, I can see that.
Why?
It's just your looks. Sorry.
So anyway, yeah, that accent. Well, I thought it was pretty good. Even though I'm not Southern, I guess someone from the South could tell it's different. But yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was pretty decent.
I liked it. I had no problem with it.
Yeah, very well acted. The plot was interesting. And this was Ryan Johnson, I think, the director. Yeah. Same director of The Last Jedi. So
Okay.
he's a good director, apparently. And just
That means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Did I see The Last Jedi?
I don't know if you did.
Okay.
Maybe you did. Did we talk about it last year?
Is that pre or post Disney?
That's posted.
That's post Disney.
Post Disney.
Is that when they introduced the guy, the black stormtrooper?
No, that's the one afterwards.
Okay, I did not see that one.
Okay. Well, all the fans hated it. I thought it was okay. But, you know, everybody hated it and him for that. But he's a good director, so.
Ryan Johnson did so much. The fact that you mentioned Star Wars when he did so many other things.
Well, that's the most recent thing that he did.
Like what though?
I'm looking it up now.
Oh, she said that, and she doesn't even know what he directed.
One off top.
I do know. I mean, I know the name. Just give me a minute. When I see it, I'm gonna be like, oh
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Shut up.
Yep.
All right.
I don't want to hear this.
He did that too.
All right. Anybody can look it up.
I don't want to hear this.
Just saying.
Oh, no, that doesn't count. It's a good movie.
Okay. Well, I guess at this point, there's really nothing we can say about this movie without spoiling it. So if you haven't seen Knives Out, our consensus is go see it. It's a very good movie. I would say it was worth my admission to the theater. So
You do matinee?
I did do a matinee.
Okay. That's best.
Definitely, yeah.
Besides, I've got Cinemark movie rewards anyway. So
I'm kind of mad that matinees are like $6 now.
Yeah, they did go up, didn't they?
Cinemark
Yeah.
was $8.25.
$8.25.
Yeah, matinee?
That was the matinee.
That ain't matinee.
Oh,
Yeah.
you need to stop going to that movie theater. Although I will admit,
I have the movie rewards, so
Dude.
it's free.
so this matinee I went to, right? All right, not the matinee, the movie theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a little kiosk thing to like buy your ticket remotely. You had to go to the stand and talk to somebody.
Oh.
And it was like a little guard, and she like, "Do you have your ticket?" And I'm like, "Oh, where's your kiosk at?" She's like, "We don't have those." I'm like, "Y'all janky."
They third world.
Wow.
Wait, so what was this? So, was the one?
It was, yeah,
I knew it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the old one.
yeah, because I wanted to use my gift card. I had like a $3 gift card.
Oh yeah, the one
Only
in
for
Solon.
Solon?
You gotta.
Yeah, it was
you gotta talk to
AMC.
somebody.
That's the only
Don't
AMC
know
we got over here.
antisocial? I don't like talking.
There's one in Parma. And an AMC in Parma.
Is
Ridge Park?
Parma's not closer? Yes, there is one in Ridge Park.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one. by my
Solon's
house.
closer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah.
But
So yeah, she was looking at me like I was crazy,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Where your kiosk?"
Like, we don't do that.
I'm like, oh, y'all don't have that here? Okay.
Oh,
We also do
not
not
with
have
the new
surround
age.
sound.
Yeah, that's the
movie-
thing.
I was like, man, the seat don't lean back.
I go to
You go lean back
Cinemark.
and like,
I go to Cinemark because you get them big leather
Exactly.
seats that recline.
like
That's why you pay
legit,
so
two
much.
people can fit in those seats.
it's true. You
Yeah.
got the cup holders there and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You can chill and watch a movie, feel like you at home. You know what I'm saying? Southern, you definitely know.
Yeah,
You not at home.
Yeah, I'm like, my couch is better.
No knock to Southern, you know what I'm saying? You can still watch a movie and enjoy it, but
No, not the Solon. I work in Solon. I hate this stupid city.
Oh,
All right.
okay. That was harsh.
it's all right.
It's the.
We love you, Southern. Keep listening. Keep listening.
I mean, if there were any listeners from Solon, keep listening. I mean, we love you guys. Awesome.
It's so believable. We should probably brush past this.
Back to the movie.
All right, anyway, so spoilers for Knives Out. You've been warned because it's a mystery. You don't want to be spoiled. Yeah. Okay, so where do we start with this? It's interesting. One thing before we jump into like kind of the progression of the plot, what they did that was interesting is kind of told you, quote unquote, who the murderer is in the middle of the movie. And basically, the rest of the movie was how are they going to get away with it?
Yeah, I think it's like it stopped being a mystery movie at that point because you're like, oh, that person did it.
Yeah,
Now what they're gonna do?
right.
Because Yes.
So what did they show them do it, or they just
Yeah, yeah, like
they
the
showed
whole
it?
thing. Yeah, like how it all happened.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the movie, they're interviewing each member of the family. They were at the house the night before for a party. And beginning of the movie, they're interviewing each member of the family. And basically, the family lies like, no, everything was fine. Then they show a flashback telling you what really happened versus what they told the cop.
Yeah.
And so one of the cops was that dude from Atlanta. You watch Atlanta?
Yeah. Which one?
The skinny one.
Skinny dude?
Yeah.
Weird dude?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's my dude, man.
Yeah. I like seeing him and stuff. You be like, oh, you be in real stuff.
Yeah, I remember in Get Out, you was like,
He was the crazy
you
dude
was the
running down the
crazy dude
street.
that was
Yeah.
like, all right. all
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Okay. But back to the movie. I know you watch Atlanta.
I do.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
All right, guys.
So you don't watch Atlanta.
I haven't watched
You
it.
need to jump on that. 'Cause,
Okay.
Oh, wait, it's good. It's good.
All right.
it's okay.
So Knives Out. Knives Out, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. Okay. So basically he has 3 kids, and basically all these kids is good for nothing. And like you're seeing like how the father basically he fired the one kid, Walt. Walt was running the publishing company.
Yeah.
He fires Walt. The daughter-in-law, Joni, he basically cuts her off because Joni was stealing the tuition money for her daughter.
Yeah, she was getting double pay.
She was getting double pay. Like he would write a check for the tuition money, and then his company would write a check for the tuition money, and she was pocketing half of it and then paying. So he cut her off.
Double dipping.
His other son-in-law, which was Don Johnson, by the way. I don't know the last time I seen him in something.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Nash Bridges. You watched it.
Oh, Nash. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's where
Yeah.
he was from.
Just taking it back.
Yeah, he
Nash
looks exactly
Bridges.
the same,
It used to
though.
be my show, though.
Nash Bridges.
That business was
Nash Bridges was the show.
great.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's been in something besides. He was in Miami Vice too, wasn't he? 1980 Miami Vice. I never seen it, but I think he was in it with that guy.
Yep, that guy. Yep.
I remember that guy.
Yeah.
See that guy?
Exactly.
Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that-
Anyways.
Not the guy. Not the guy. That
No,
guy.
no, that guy. Yeah, I'm
That
sorry. The guy.
That guy's completely different.
Different guy.
Completely different. He doesn't even do movies.
Yeah, I know. My bad. That guy.
That guy.
If y'all know who I'm talking about, don't act like this. Because y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yes, we know. Mm-hmm. Well, I do.
Anyways.
No, yeah, that guy.
Okay, yes, we know.
Don Johnson was his son-in-law, and he was having an affair with some girl. And basically, the dude was like, "Tell my daughter, or I'm gonna tell him." And then why did his daughter have a motive? I forgot. His other daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis. What was her motive for killing him?
His daughter. What was the deal with her? She was doing something too.
Yeah, they were all doing some
Like they were
underhanded
all
stuff.
taking money from.
Yeah,
her,
so they all
basically.
had a motive to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And-
Well, not really. Actually, it's kind of an anti-motive because
Well-
they were benefiting from him.
Well, that's what the guy from Atlanta was saying. He's like, it's weak sauce motive.
Yeah.
And so he literally
Yeah,
said
he said weak sauce. Said it a few times.
Wow.
Said that is weak sauce.
So it's like they had a reason, but it's like, did you kill him over this? And then there was like the grandson ransom.
Yeah, his name's Ransom.
I know, right?
Chris Evans.
Yeah. He was like,
That's the other dude I seen in the preview.
yeah.
Like, oh, Captain America. Yay.
Yeah. He has a life after Captain America.
Yeah, this is what he's doing now, huh?
Yeah. So basically, he was like not around. Like he didn't show up to the funeral. He left the party early, and that was like all you heard about him. And then there was the nurse who cannot lie. She like gets sick every time she lies.
Yeah, she vomits every time she tells a lie.
I
That's a
know.
big giveaway.
Exactly. And so that's why the detective was talking to her, because he's like, I heard you can't lie. Yeah.
And she really couldn't lie.
She really
No,
couldn't
like,
lie.
Actually, she vomited every time.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a horrible
Also,
trait
her
to
family
have.
was from
That would
somewhere.
suck.
Somewhere. They kept changing. They was like,
So
so
this just shows you how this family is. So all of she's the nurse.
yeah.
The girl who couldn't lie, she was his nurse, and the family, they're like, oh, she's from Uruguay, Ecuador,
Paraguay.
like
Just-
this is every
Oh, the Guays.
yeah,
Yeah.
any Latin American country, they're just naming that like it was clearly racist. Like just assuming that she was from some of these countries. They never actually said what country her family was from.
Nah.
Yeah, but
It changed every time they talked to her, though.
She was apparently Latin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
Latin
descent.
American,
Yeah. No idea where she was from.
Alrighty.
yeah. So they just kept naming different stuff, but like she's definitely pivotal to this story, and it's interesting how Daniel Craig's character kind of followed it, and he knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because she had something to do with the guy's death. It was her.
Basically, it was her.
Was
It was her. Well,
the vomiting nurse?
yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of and not kind of.
And they like revealed that in the middle of the story. It was like, because now it's her time. She was the last person the detective talked to.
Yeah.
And now it's her time. And so it turns out, well, sort of turned out, that she accidentally gave him an overdose of morphine. That the vials got mixed up and she gave him the wrong amount.
Well, yeah, because they had a rapport with each other. So, they're joking around and stuff while she's giving him his medicine.
So it
And
was an accident.
yeah, she accidentally
accidentally
gave him,
yeah.
quote unquote, 100 milligrams of morphine.
Which would kill him. She
Yeah.
says, like, you got like 15 minutes to live. Let me call the cops. They live in a remote location. He's like, they'll never get here in time. He didn't want her to be blamed. So he came up with this whole thing to kind of cover up the fact that she accidentally killed him. So he like walks her through like what you need to do. So she had to sneak out the house. It was like, well, first, what did she do first? She left. Like, so his son was sitting on the porch having a cigar. She leaves the house like, oh no, it's already midnight. So the son can remember what time she left.
Yeah. And then she had to sneak back into the house
Yeah.
and pretend to be
Him
him coming down the stairs so that there's record of him being alive
after she left.
after she left.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
then,
this is all the old guy's plan because he didn't want her to get blamed for his death.
So he was old, like
he was like 85,
85.
like may as well die.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he was 85, but he was sharp for an 85-year-old dude,
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, but he was old.
Yeah, so
Yeah. And so then when she gets back in, the guy, because if they know he overdosed, she's the nurse, she'll be blamed. He cuts his own throat. Yeah.
so suicide.
Yeah.
This is after she gave him the morphine.
Yes.
So he probably didn't feel that.
Probably not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, that's all. I mean, who cuts their own throat? And that was one of the things that the cops were saying too, like,
Right,
who cuts their own throat?
But the way the evidence it showed it was a suicide, which technically it was. But if there's foul play with the morphine, then that would
Exactly.
yeah.
So then that leads up to her. Can we get to this point?
Yeah.
Basically, she tells Chris Evans, ransom, like, I did it.
Oh, so this was kind of dirty on Chris Evans' part. So, first of all, to show you how this family is, like, we get to the will reading, right? And it turns out dude left everything to the nurse, whose name is Marta. We might as well call her Marta from here on. He left everything to Marta. So, of course, the family is angry at that because really they didn't really care about anything but their money that they were
Right, they were all like, oh, you're part of the family. He really liked you. Didn't get to the fact he loved her everything.
yeah, and they're like, oh, we're gonna take care of you and your family, all that type of stuff, and, and then he left her everything. He left her the house. He left her $60 million. He left her $60 million. Plus, she owns the publishing company. Yeah, so it's hers. He gave her the company too. So, like, everything.
Nice.
And his family got nothing.
And what else was she doing extracurricularly for this guy?
Nothing. He wasn't. But I think it was more of she was actually a good person and his family wasn't. So, it was basically that.
I did that.
So, which is probably why he went through so much trouble to make sure she didn't get blamed for his death.
Right, because
Even
if
though it
she's
was an
blamed for,
accident.
what do they call it? If she gets blamed for her stuff, she gets nothing. And then money goes back to the family.
Yeah.
And the family was like super bitter about it. They're like gaining up on her. Like, you're going to do the right thing, right? I mean,
you're going to give it up.
you're going to give us.
Her mother was undocumented, so they threatened to reveal that.
She coming out with 60 mil, so you'll probably get her back.
And
Yeah.
that's what she said, because one of the sons come up to her apartment and says, like, look, we can protect you and we'll use all our resources to help your mother, but you have to do the right thing. And she's like, well, technically, it's all my resources, so I can protect my mother.
Right. Like, I don't need you.
Yeah, no, you have nothing now. I have it all. Yeah.
Right. Plus, they all like called her, even the girl that was supposed to be her friend. Now, I don't know if they were saying that she was like.
I think they were saying that they pressured her to do it.
Yeah, because
Pressure who?
the granddaughter whose tuition was being paid by the father, she
I forgot her name.
called her and basically was like, "Oh, you're gonna still cover that for us."
Right.
But it seemed like the family was pressuring her to kind of get that information. So I don't know. But in the end, she gets nothing still.
Yep.
So whatever.
And so that is kind of when Chris Evans come in, because he's like, hey, because, the family's gaining up on her. And he's like, come with me. I can protect you. And that's when I'm like, I don't trust this dude. Right.
Chris Evans.
Yeah. Yeah. And so basically he's like, they go out, they're eating or whatever. And he's like, I heard you can't lie. He's like, so I need you to tell me everything.
And he gave her like a full plate of food right before then.
Yeah.
She about to throw it all back.
Yeah.
If she lied.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically she had no choice but to tell him everything. And he's like, I'm not going to turn you in. Actually, I'm going to help you. Really? Why you the one person? Because he's the one person that everyone was like, he's no good. You can't trust him. But he was the only person willing to help her. That right there, I was like, this dude ain't real.
Of course.
Why didn't she just tell him nothing? That's not
his,
lying.
Because I feel like it's kind of like liar, liar. Like, not only could he not lie, but you had to tell the truth. You know what I mean? Like, you can't like leave something out. Yeah.
Which
that would suck, man.
Good point we left out. She got away with that when she was talking to the cops because
For a
everything
little bit.
she said was true.
True.
She was like,
Well, that's what the guy said. He was like, you tell them the truth. And she did tell them the truth.
Yeah.
They played the game. The boy got knocked over. She gave him her medicine. She left.
Yeah.
All true.
All true.
Just forgot the murder
And her
part.
answer was since his injury, she gave him 3 milligrams of morphine and this medicine and this medicine. So that wasn't a lie. Since his injury, she was doing that just that night.
She gave him
She
more.
didn't, but it wasn't a lie. So
Yeah.
So she had to strategically
Tell the
tell him
truth.
the truth without revealing everything.
Yes.
which I guess technically is still lying.
Not really.
Is it a lie by omission?
Lying by omission.
Not really.
I mean, she did, but she told him the truth. She told him everything that happened that night. Just forgot the climbing up the window part.
True.
It's like if I went home and I took a shower, eat, change my clothes, and go to sleep. You're like, what'd you do when you get home? I'm like, I went to sleep.
Right. He just left some parts out.
Okay.
It didn't give you all details.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that was that. And so then basically the rest of the movie is like her trying to get away with it. So the detective brings her along, like, you're the only one I can trust. So they go watch the surveillance video from the mansion. She stole the tape, use a magnet to wipe it.
Yeah. Although that was a fridge magnet.
Darren.
What? I'm
Let's
sorry.
not. First
Like
of
one those
all,
flat fridge magnets, or like one of those.
one of those ones with little fruit shapes.
Oh.
You know, the one that your grandma be having.
A thicker magnet on it. You
Can
probably
it
do that.
erase a tape?
Let's
Or
try
screw
it.
with the tape?
I don't know. First of all,
You make contact with the tape, yes.
find a VHS.
I don't have one.
Thing number one. I was looking like, what are they gonna do with this tape? Like, how are they
You see
playing
how
this?
old this dude's security system was?
It was like from 1990.
Before this.
So, okay, wait a minute. So what year is it in the movie?
2018 or
Okay,
whatever
19.
year we live in.
Yeah, it's modern.
19.
Okay, that's modern. Okay.
Yeah. But that system was like 1990. Like, to fast forward, you had to hold play and fast forward.
Okay, that's old.
I was like, I don't think I ever had to do that.
Yeah, that's old. That's old. It's like you got to put play and record in order to record or something like that.
Yeah.
That was on
Yeah.
cassette tapes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So this was like before us.
So yeah, she was doing that. She realized that her tracks was in the mud. So like she was walking ahead of the detectives, and so she just walked in the mud again to cover the fact that her tracks were in the mud.
So he would think that those were the fresh tracks.
Yeah. Instead of old ones. When she climbed up the little lattice thing, she broke one and she
Yeah.
like threw it away to the dog or whatever, so like he wouldn't find the broken.
Yeah, but the dog brought it back later.
Yeah.
Just dropped it in front of the detective's feet, like, "Hey, man, here's some evidence."
She just kept that piece with her.
Oh, but you know what's like one thing we
pretty
forgot is like when she was leaving after she like, saw the guy kill himself, the grandmother, the great grandmother,
Yeah,
was like sitting in the window and saw her leave. And this lady was really creepy.
The night that she...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's important later because this lady.
This is the 85-year-old's mother.
Yeah. So she like they in the movie
100.
they said we don't know how old she is.
Well, the lady 85, I imagine she's at least 20 years older than us. Like 105.
Yeah, so she was old, and like they would ask her questions, and she wouldn't answer it or whatever. But that becomes important later. Yeah. But yeah, so basically, and so then it's like she gets a blackmail letter. Like, okay, someone knows I did this. Like they hand her a toxicology report saying like, hey, no, an overdose of morphine is going to show up on this.
Yeah, I know what you did.
Yeah.
I did notice something when she got it, and I noticed that when she got that blackmail letter, the bottom was ripped off.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Why is the bottom ripped off?"
Well, they said that because
I know, like they give it away in the movie, but at the time, I'm sitting here watching the movie, like,
why would
that's
you do that?
Weird.
Yeah.
Also, the envelope was already open.
Yeah, because it was an envelope inside of an envelope.
So her blackmail letter, she got the blackmail letter. Envelope was already open, and the bottom was ripped off of the letter. Seems just so weird.
So like somebody else saw the ransom letter first?
Yes.
Before she got it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which becomes clear later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but so her and Chris Evans are going to go try to get the evidence from what
it was the maid, Fran.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know it was Fran yet. They were trying to go to
I'm sorry. It was the maid.
Well, wherever they hold the records,
which I always thought was weird because records are digital. I'm like, what decade is this?
Yeah,
records are digitized, right? So they went to go to the lab to, I guess, steal the toxicology report or some trash, and the whole lab was on fire.
Yeah,
the building completely destroyed. But I'm like, isn't it computerized? Saved in the cloud somewhere?
Yeah, it used to be digital.
So, like, just because it's not in that building, it's somewhere.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, we also bought a guy that was using VHS as a security system, so.
That is weird.
Yeah. Well, maybe maybe for this town it wasn't digital. You never know.
Maybe not.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Where was the town?
It's Mass.
Somewhere outside of Boston.
Did it say outside of Boston?
Whatever. Name another city in Massachusetts.
What, Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Massachusetts. So the city's name was Mass.
No,
and it was in Massachusetts.
I was saying Mass as an abbreviation of Massachusetts.
Oh,
why didn't he just say the state name?
You should have just said state name.
Whatever.
I had no idea that you were talking about Massachusetts. No idea.
Mass is...
Nobody says that.
No one says that. That's like Alabama. Ow.
Yeah. I live in Owl.
Whatever, man. What? Anyway, it's on fire, and then we have the stupidest police chase ever.
Stupid because she was in a Hyundai, like an old one.
And they was like, I am flooring it. And she's like,
wait, what the police have? Don't tell me Chargers.
No, they had like Ford Explorers, but you know, they're like souped up. But like she topped out at like 60, and the cops are like...
The cops were doing 80.
They should have passed her then. Like,
they did.
They did pass her. But anyway, she goes and rendezvous to the port where she was supposed to meet at. And it was Fran, the maid. And it sounded like Fran was like, you did this, and you're not going to get away with it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but she was already poisoned with morphine.
Yep.
Fran was.
Yeah.
Yep. Apparently that's the way to kill somebody. Keep that in mind.
Morphine.
All right.
Yeah, so, I mean, overdose is overdose.
I mean, yeah.
But Marta calls an ambulance anyway.
Right, because she's a good person. And at this point, she's just ready to turn herself in.
She's like, forget all this, whatever. I'll just go to jail. Well, she will. Then the reason why she wasn't wasn't even for the money. She didn't even know she was going to receive all of the inheritance. She had no idea. She was just afraid that her mother was going to get deported.
But she knew she had something coming.
No. At first she didn't.
She's just a nurse.
Yeah, she was covering. She did all this to protect her mother, and then found out later that the guy had left her everything.
Yeah, and the guy told, and she wasn't going to do this in the first place. She was calling 911, and he hung up the phone and said, "No, because your mother, then your mother and your sister, blah blah blah."
Right, and he didn't want nothing bad because she would go to jail.
She would go to jail because
why not just tell her that she about to get all this? Chill out.
Because if she's found
Well, if she knew, that's motive.
Yeah, and then if he tell her like you're gonna get all this, if she's found guilty, she doesn't get anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he knew she wouldn't get anything. Also, didn't want her to go to jail. And then, how do you prove that she accidentally gave him too much morphine?
Right. So this when she admits what she did to Daniel Craig, and then Daniel Craig. So she's going to the family to admit everything. Is basically saying, "Hey, you guys can get all the money." Daniel Craig reads the toxicology report and is like, "Yo, I know what happened."
Yeah.
And so basically, Chris Evans, he had earlier that the night of the party, he had an argument with the grandfather, and the grandfather basically told him, "I'm cutting you all off, and I'm leaving everything to Marta." Chris Evans gets mad, takes off, sneaks back into the house, switched the medical vials. So then his medicine was actually switched with morphine so that she couldn't accidentally give him the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
And he did all of this to basically frame Marta for his murder. If she gets framed for his murder, the money will automatically go to the family, even though he changed his will.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Because she's a good nurse, when they were conversating, when she was giving him the medicine...
Yes.
Conversing. Excuse me.
You're excused.
When she picked up the vials, she actually gave him the right medicine because she's used to how the medicine like weighs and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you do it a bunch of times. So it's probably just subconscious. She picked up the vial and knew which vial was which. So even though when she saw and thought she gave him morphine because it was labeled morphine, it wasn't because Chris Evans switched the labels.
Yeah. So she thought she overdosed him, but she didn't.
She didn't. So he wasn't even going to die.
Yeah. He committed suicide for no reason.
So he actually did
So he
commit suicide.
did feel that throat slit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he did. I still don't think, could you slit your own throat?
I don't know.
You can if you commit it.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
That's-
I saw this thing where it's like you can't bite through your own skin unless there's something wrong with you.
Wait, did you hear about people cutting, like, chewing their own wrist off? To, like,
Yeah,
get out of
it.
I mean, I think that's like a desperate situation.
You know what? I'm
it's
just going to be
definitely
attached to that wall.
I am too. I'm like, well, I guess this is where I'm going to spend the rest of my life. Somebody got some WD-40 or some butter or something. This is where I'm going to be.
So that's where the interesting part came in, and I did not see that coming. So she
Yeah.
actually did not kill him.
Yeah. Even
And
though
she
thought
wouldn't have
did.
gone to jail because the toxicology report would have shown that she didn't give him an overdose of morphine.
Right. So it was strictly suicide.
Yeah, it was suicide.
Strictly, it was a suicide.
But he had some morphine in the system, though, right?
No,
The normal-
she didn't give it to him yet.
No, she did. It was the normal amount.
The normal amount of morphine.
Yeah.
No, they switched the vials.
She gave him 2 injections. One of the morphine, one of the medicine. She gave him both.
No, hang on.
Darren.
No, she didn't. She was about to give him the
No,
morphine.
Darren. She gave
No,
him
she
both.
was about to give him the morphine, and she realized that she had already given him it, and that's why she started tripping because. She's
Oh my
like, I
gosh!
gave
If
you
we
too
can
much.
rewind this right now, she gave him 2 injections.
So
Yeah, he had 3 medicines.
So she already gave him something.
He had 3
Yeah.
medicines. She gave him 2, and then she was like, "You want some drugs?" And she was about to give him the morphine, and she noticed that the vial that was full was not morphine because the label didn't say it, and then that's why she started being really afraid because she's like, "I gave you too much morphine. We got to do something. I got to give you the antidote. I got to call 911." So
I'm going to
didn't-
disagree with this.
She didn't give him any morphine. It doesn't really matter. He didn't.
I can't say either way because I have not seen it. But
It does actually. That fact doesn't matter
Okay.
because either way, she didn't kill him.
Nope.
okay, it just matters to me because it's like if he had a little bit of morphine in him, then he might have been able to take that little throat slit.
You just
You know
afraid
what?
if
That's
he
a good
felt it.
I feel like he had to have some morphine in him because I feel like that initial thing he'd have stopped. Like he went all the way.
You know what? This is gonna
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
He went all the way
Find another
through.
way.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah.
another way.
All right. So that's the interesting fact. We went through all this, and they kind of told you who the murderer was in the middle of the movie, but then it ends up she's not actually the murderer.
Yeah. And then Daniel Craig says, "I knew it was you all along because when the dude slit his throat, she got blood on her shoe." Which, by the way, the entire time I'm like, "You only own 1 pair of shoes?"
Yeah,
Oh, she didn't change the shoes. Hold on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who only owns 1 pair of
those are the
shoes?
shoes she wears. Okay,
No. And they
All
were
the time, even when there's evidence.
she didn't know blood was on the shoe.
You ain't gonna-
man. You just watched the guy kill himself. Like I
Let
burned
me
all
make
of that.
Ain't nothing on me got blood.
Exactly. I'm not wearing no shoes anymore. So he be like, oh, footprints. The shoes you're wearing.
Hey, in the movie, he said she was a horrible murderer.
She was. She was horrible.
So
Obviously.
she obviously did not plan for any of
But
this.
seriously, get more than one pair of shoes.
Yeah, that right there.
I mean, first of all, I don't wear the same pair of shoes 2 days in a row. That's
Yeah. So Daniel Craig
cannot say that.
knew she had something to do with it. I think he went through this whole thing because one, someone hired him and he wanted to know why they hired him, and two, it again clearly showed the guy slit his own throat. So you need to figure out why he did that.
Yeah.
You know, just because she had blood on her shoe, like she didn't slit his throat. It's proof in how he died.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's why he went on with the investigation to see what was going on. And it turns out it was all Chris Evans.
Yep. He did everything.
Yep, it was Chris Evans. And that's the podcast. Thank you, guys. No.
Wait, what? Everything.
It's the end of the clue. It was Chris Evans in the bedroom with morphine.
with morphine.
This was a random morphine.
Yep.
In the bedroom.
Mhm.
Check.
Yep.
So, yeah, Chris Evans switched the things on the files to get her to do it.
He hired.
But because she's a good nurse, she actually didn't give him too much morphine because she knew which vial was morphine without looking at it. And so even though he switched the labels, it didn't matter. Plus, he had to go back in the house and re-switch the labels back, which is why he wasn't at the funeral. Because while everybody was at the funeral, he snuck in the house, switched the
And
labels back.
the grandmother, the great-grandmother, saw him leave through the window. And she said, Ransom, are you leaving? And so when the girl came out, she said, Ransom, are you back again? Because she already seen him leave and come back.
Yeah.
So Daniel Craig, actually, he's like, I have nowhere to go. I have all day to wait. And you think like she just sat there being quiet, but she actually did tell him what happened.
Yeah.
So like he got done in by his great-grandmother. Because she's not as senile as people thought she was.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he probably should have thought about that. Got to get rid of her too.
Yeah. So,
Aw.
Fran sent the. Oh yeah, we didn't get to that part. So Fran sent the note to Chris Evans because she saw him go in the house to switch the labels back because she was there, and so she knew he did something. But she doesn't know how to read a toxicology report, so she didn't know that it actually said that there wasn't too much morphine. Anyhow, but she's just sent the top of the toxicology report like, "Ha, I got you. You know,
Yeah.
meet me here." So he meets her at the time he's supposed to meet her, overdoses her on morphine, and gives the ransom note to
Marta.
and has Marta meet her later. And that's where Marta saw Fran. And Fran didn't say, you did this. She said, Hugh did this, which was
Chris Evans' real
Chris
name.
Evans' name.
His name was Hugh Ransom.
Yeah.
Hugh.
Like H-U-G-H?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugh. Hugh. Interesting name to say. Hugh.
Shout out to all our Hughes out there.
If you're a Hugh watching the podcast, welcome to all Hugh.
And we love your name. Obviously. It's fun to say.
So it's like, so this dude and that whole pretend, and he was going to get her when he had her tell him the truth, but when he realized, like when she gave his confession to her, and she said, "I switched the vials," he realized at that point, because she accidentally switched them, that she actually didn't give him morphine. So he burned down a little toxicology place because he had to get rid of the evidence of her innocence, which is crazy. Like, you don't never see like, oh, I have to get rid of evidence of a person's innocence.
Yeah.
You know? So he had to go along with it. So that's why he was working with her, because she was actually innocent. So he had to play it in such a way where he would still get his money.
Mm-hmm. And that is Knives Out.
Yeah. Well,
he tried to stab her, but like the old man said, you never know what's a prop knife and a real knife. It was a fake knife.
Yeah. He tried to stab her. Everyone tried to stop him. And instead of being the movie trope where someone stops just in time, they didn't. He actually got through with it, landed, knife goes in, but it was a prop knife. So
it springs back.
Blows itself up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
embarrassing.
Also, they got him on murdering Fran because technically,
they had no evidence against him.
You couldn't prove. Well, there was no way to prove that he actually switched the vials and tried to get her. And based on all the evidence, you had to rule the death as suicide. Period. He wasn't overdosed, and he killed himself. Yeah. That's what happened. Nobody goes to jail with that, but they got him to confess to killing Fran.
Yep.
Because they lied and said that Fran was still alive, and she knew. So that would be the evidence against him. And so in that, he had his little rant in his confession to giving Fran the morphine, which killed her. So now you confess to murder.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty decent movie.
It's really good.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. There's some underlying commentary to it. I'm not going to say what. You got to watch it and see what is it about. But I love the last scene.
Oh, yeah.
So there's this mug that says, my house, my
rules.
My rules, something like that. So the family's all below as they're carting Chris Evans off to jail. Mm-hmm. And she's up on the porch and she's drinking from the mug and her hand's covering up everything, but it's except for the words "my house." She takes a drink from it.
But who does?
Marta, because she got the house. So the whole family's like forced to leave, and then it also turns out like, since the dude's a mystery buff, like the dad actually wrote a letter to the daughter telling her that her husband was cheating on her, but he wrote it in invisible ink. So when the husband found the letter, he thought the page was blank. The daughter finds it, puts a lighter underneath it, and reads the letter. So basically, it's like everyone lies in this family got destroyed because they're all awful people.
Yeah.
And then Marta comes out on top.
Yep. And Marta gets it.
Yep.
I just love how it ended on that my house thing. Like it was perfect. Absolutely.
That sounds like an interesting movie. I'm kind of upset that I didn't see it now.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Go see it.
You know? Yeah, it's not as good if you know what happens.
Guess not.
It still might be good. There's some funny parts in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of funny parts, actually.
I guess it would be cool to see Captain America and 007 going at it.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, some people in my theater thought it was funnier than it was. Like, there were parts that were funny that I genuinely thought were funny, but, like, they really thought it was funny.
You guys get the guy like, yeah.
And then it was parts that was clearly not a joke as well. They're like, that
could have been a joke.
I'm like, what? That's what? And the person next to me was just chomping on some popcorn, like just chomping.
Your theater was full?
Yes, it was actually full, and I was like, oh my god. I thought I went in the middle of the day on a Sunday. I thought nobody would be here.
I like a full theater because, like, depending on the movie, because I want to see people's reaction to the movie.
Well, like an action movie, this movie,
like the Marvel, like Avengers. I want
that's the only movie I want to go see for. Anyone else, just leave me be.
Yeah.
Well, I was like the mystery movies because you want to see what people think.
Well, it'd have been nice, like if I had a friend next to me, like, did you see that? I knew it was him all along. Like, something like that. Yeah. No, I don't want to sit next to strangers, though.
No, I don't like it either. That's why when I got my tickets, nobody had the seats next to me, and it was like an entire row. I'm like, great. I should be by myself because I got the tickets like a half hour before the movie started.
And it was
so did all those other people.
Yeah, apparently.
Right behind you. You didn't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was Knives Out. So, what are you gonna rate the movie, Dale?
Why you say it like that, God?
Because
that's what it sounds like.
Dale.
Dale. It's not beautiful. I'm sorry, it's not.
Again, all of our listeners named Dale.
All of our Dale listeners,
we love you.
It's not beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's Dale.
Sheesh, you know what? I'm gonna write a letter to the lady I stole this name from.
Let her know it's not beautiful.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5. I'm gonna give it an 8. Yeah, I think I bumped it up a bit because of the underlying commentary behind the movie, which you guys are gonna have to say. I'm not gonna comment on what it talks about. Really,
I was not a fan of the commentary because I already know people was gonna have issues with it.
Oh, people are gonna have issues with it.
Why?
We'll get to that. Don't worry. But we here at 3D Rivals, we are neutral on all topics, so we won't talk about the underlying commentary of this movie. But yes, it was very good. I liked it, and I liked how I figured out some of that stuff after the movie, and it kind of stuck with me. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
All right.
Cool.
So
So yeah, Knives Out, excellent. If you haven't seen it, you just got spoiled. I'm sorry.
we ruined it
Yeah, I
for
hope
you.
ducked out after we said we was gonna spoil it.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
you ducked out. Real
Yeah,
quick.
Yeah,
you
no.
definitely should have.
If not, then hey, it's your fault. We told you.
So other than that, thank you guys for listening. You can catch us on email. That is 3drivals@gmail.com. You can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/3drivals, or tweet at us on the Twitters. Tweet. That is at 3_rivals.